And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport here on a Wednesday, the Wednesday before the 89th edition of the Masters Tournament Par 3 contest today. It's Barnes, it's Tony, and it's Zach. What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much. But happy to be here on this hump day, on this Masters Wednesday. Stoked to preview this tournament, dude. Obviously, a lot of different storylines to talk about. So it's going to be a great weekend for golf, that's for sure. Hopefully, the weather holds up, buddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, weather, last time I checked,
yeah.
it was supposed to be pretty good.
Great.
I think today is 70 and sunny.
Beautiful.
So that's all you could ask for. And just imagine being on the grounds of Augusta National
Oh,
right now.
my God, dude. Forget about it.
Should have already put our lottery tickets in for next year.
Can you?
Yeah, I don't know what when the process starts and stuff, but anybody could do it. It just, and Riley did get to that practice round, so I mean, you never know. Honestly, I'm almost disappointed in myself that I haven't done it yet, because that would be like a trip of a lifetime. Honestly.
Oh my God, dude, I know.
So yeah, definitely want to look into that at some point. But yeah, a lot to get to. Of course, besides the Masters, the baseball, the grid, and a little hockey, even though we know it's over, for the Rangers.
We gotta pick a team to follow in the playoffs. So you should pick another team, dude.
Yeah, well, I think I hate to say it, Tony, but
the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, just to kind of, it's like a silencer thing. I think we do need to see that. Coupled with the eventual trade to the Rangers. It will be interesting though. I don't. What's going to irk you more deep down inside, though, the Oilers championship or the McDavid on the Rangers?
Listen, I've said this a million times. Like, having McDavid on the Rangers would be great. Obviously, listen, the state of the Rangers now, obviously bad. Some people may say just blow it up, trade the entire roster for McDavid.
But
listen, if he wins, I mean, good for him. I don't think they will win. I just don't think so. It's not any malice towards him. I just don't think that if they win this year, yes, I would rather see other teams win. I'd rather see other teams. I'd rather see Washington win. Like that. Like, there's just other storylines I'm interested in the NHL rather than just Connor McDavid.
And you're telling me though, that just not any part of you would just be a little annoyed like him on the Rangers, just because, like you said, for so long he's not going there.
No, not necessarily. I mean, listen, I'm saying he's not going there because it's very unlikely. Like, maybe the tail end of his career, maybe.
But wouldn't have everybody said, in the past, Gretzky's never going to leave Edmonton? Similar? No, Gretzky, better player. I mean, why at that point? Why would you have said the greatest?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But again, I mean, it's going to take an absolute haul for that to happen. And I mean, it's just not. The Rangers aren't in a position, nor should they try to be in one where they're giving up these top-ranked prospects of what they have now for a Connor McDavid that has not won anything.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one thing if he won 3 cups with Edmonton and then is going to go somewhere else like LA, like what happened with Gretzky, but he hasn't won anything.
You would really have to think about what you're giving up. You wouldn't just sign a blind check to get McDavid.
No,
given the state of things.
I would not sign a blind check, dude, because that would be stupid, because he's proven that him by himself cannot win anything. And actually right now he has the second best player in the league next to him. Like,
don't think you're playing with fire though? A Game 7 loss? Like, you're saying he hasn't won anything. I mean, you're right there, and you're going to tell me that that's not better than what we're working with, not even getting to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, of course. I mean, going deep, going to the Cup Final, Game 7, sure, I would love that. But it's, again, this guy isn't a godsend, all right? Like, you want to compare him to Gretzky in terms of talent, sure. But impact on the game? No.
Yeah, but I mean, he's obviously, easily top 5 in the whole league. So,
top 3.
When was the last time we could say that? I mean, I don't know. I can't even, can you tell me? Like, when was the last time a top 5 player in the league at that time when he was playing for the Rangers was on the Rangers?
Top 5 player in the league. I mean,
Lundqvist can goalie even be?
Lundqvist
and I feel like Yager though, because I was watching hockey from afar, but it seemed like there was a little animosity. I mean, what did he have? One really good year, right, where he had 50 goals, but other than that, like, wasn't it? Or maybe that was more team performance, because I know it wasn't.
I mean, the
like,
team
smooth.
didn't go anywhere. Yeah, but he was great.
It was 150 goal season.
It was 150 goal season, but he had other seasons where he still was getting 100 points. He's still getting 30 goals.
Think about how long ago that was. So that was over 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe
so
like 06 or something.
Player in 20 years. I mean, I think that's a problem.
Not great.
In New York.
Yeah, no, that's not good at all. And I don't know like who. Again, we could be missing someone, but I'm just trying to think in terms of like anyone actually
Leach
ranked.
was good, but was he top 5? You know what I mean? Like, he's obviously the best defenseman, but it's like Hank, same thing, like one of the best goalies, but was he top 5? And it's
player,
like, you needed to be the scorer, the enforcer, the playmaker.
I mean, not that it's an easy thing to be top 5. You think of, especially in Hank's tenure, I mean, you have Crosby, you have Ovechkin, right. You have prime Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Brad Marchand. You have all these great players that have, obviously won multiple cups with their teams and stuff like that. So, but yeah, obviously, listen, the state of the Rangers is poor. It's sad. It's a state of affairs for sure.
Clean house.
It is time to clean house.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it. Obviously, don't do anything drastic. But yes, like Laviolette's got to go.
And injury.
And we didn't even talk about it yesterday. But Laviolette's saying he's going to the locker room.
I mean, I think he knows.
What does that even fucking mean? What does that even mean?
But he knows it's over. He knows it's over. But you don't think Drury? Because I just think fuck Drury, dude. It's like he's been here a couple of years. Like, what's happened? What's good? What are we looking forward to?
What has he been here? 3 years?
I think it's like 4 and 5 years.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong, dude. I mean, yes, they got, some signings are good. Obviously, you're happy with Will Borgen. He got rid of certain guys he needed to, I suppose. But like we said, in the offseason, he stayed stagnant. He stayed put with what he had on the roster, which was his decision and ultimately the wrong decision, because you look at what's happening here now, and that 7-year deal with Trocheck isn't looking that much greater now than it was.
And we knew at the onset that it was pushing it, the 7 years.
I guess so, but you still would have anticipated. I mean, I don't blame Drury for thinking that Trocheck could go out there and put together half of that contract. I mean, this year was bad for him compared to last year, even just in terms of not even goal scoring or points on the scoreboard, but just general plays, dude. The malaise he has.
Oh yeah, looking like Chris Kreider half the time.
Really, the general malaise that the entire roster had this season just seemed like nothing was working right. Nothing, dude. And maybe it is a mental aspect. Maybe it was a culture thing. Which is why you got to get Peter out of there. And probably Drury at this point, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's tough, dude. I mean, you got to find good replacements. I mean, you still have a roster that did win the President's Trophy, 2 seasons ago, basically. So it's like you think that if you have the right guy, they can hit the ground running next season, start winning maybe. I don't know.
I just think you're not married to anybody on this roster other than Perreault and Igor and really
Fox maybe too.
But Fox, you know what I mean? Like if it was you're going to get somebody in really good, you're not going to hesitate to give up Fox, is what I'm saying. And even Igor to an extent, like if you're getting like somebody ridiculous like a top 5 player, I mean, obviously it would be worth it. I mean, it's just that's just is what it is. And I think sometimes you just have to rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, I don't know about the Igor thing too. I mean, you are very trigger happy to get rid of Igor. It's been a theme for you.
Okay, so I know you hate McDavid, so let's just say,
my god, dude, I don't hate McDavid.
Just
I've never
give me
said
then
that,
who
dude.
you think. Whatever guy you want to name that's not like old, that's really good. You're telling me you wouldn't include Igor in a package for him? I mean, Austin Matthews,
like a Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, Nathan McKinnon with Cale Makar. Or fine, no, just McKinnon.
Are we selling them a stadium? Like, what are you talking? Like, what would the package even be for that?
McKinnon,
dude?
though. Just McKinnon.
If Igor was in a package for McKinnon, and again, that would be great. But it's like, I don't know, dude. Like growing up my entire life, the Rangers were known for having a great goaltender.
Yeah.
Like that's just their thing, dude. And they have Igor, who is a phenomenal goaltender who wins. He's a guy who wins us games, like undoubtedly. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, do you value a tender necessarily as high as one of the top players in the league? No, you don't. Yeah. But again, I don't know. I think that's a loaded question. I mean, what package are we talking? Like, we sell Panarin and Igor and Kreider for McKinnon.
Given how we played this year, how could you question whoever you're going to give up besides Perreault with Igor? I mean, it's worth it to get Nathan McKinnon. Just to have Nathan McKinnon. You know what I mean? It's like there's just value of just having that guy.
No, there is value of having him.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. I think I'm coming from the standpoint where the team was so bad that McKinnon or A. McDavid or A. Kel McCarr. I mean, maybe, again, defender Kel McCarr, maybe he's a little extra special, but still, getting in one superstar isn't going to make this team like a cup contending team. We're missing the playoffs right now. We're missing the playoffs.
Culture, though, you need the guy who sets the tone, and there's nobody that sets the tone on the team right now.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. That doesn't seem like it anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason, but I just hope to get rid of as many people as possible. But before we get to Augusta, you have a few comments here. Michael Butka, of course, leading it off.
Yes, dude. You want me to rip the comments?
Yes.
Okay, I will rip the comments here. We do have Michael Buchter early and often here. He says, OKC, KFC, refs, Lakers in 5. Obviously seeing a lot of Shannon Sharp tape on TikTok. I mean, that is a good shtick. I think Shannon Sharp has a good shtick with that one. It does give me a good laugh when he does that. He says, Luka returns to Dallas tonight, and it's going to be epic and spicy, he says. How do you think the Mavs fans are going to act? Beer cans on the court, or? I
mean, but can you really boo Luka? I mean, it's not his fault, you know?
Can I what?
Boo Luka.
Oh, boo Luka. Can I really boo Luka, dude? I mean, no, I guess you're not gonna, but
it would be fuck Nico is what you should be hearing.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, is that what you think? You think there'll be boos for Luka, or no? Do you really think they'll be fine with Luka right now?
Yeah, no, it'll be Nico signs definitely.
Okay,
definitely.
No, I think I agree with that one. And then we have also, guess who's coming back to the booth tomorrow, dude?
And it's interesting because Michael Butka gets all crazy with the announcer stuff, but the one thing, there's a even parallel, Tony, is his love for Nance with the Masters. And I know you agree. I don't think anybody calls it better. And clearly,
no one does.
He's the best, Masters announcer, play-by-play of all time. It's not even a question. So
no question, dude.
Let him have his parade for, the next 4 days.
Absolutely, dude. Michael Buck also says, please know I will have my eyes glued to the Lakers-Mavs game tonight, dude. Will you be tuning in, Brian?
No.
Really? Is it late?
Monotony.
Josh B says, yo fam, happy hump day. What's up, Josh B? Glad you're in here. We have Derpy Entertainment saying, let's go boys, we made it to the Super Bowl of golf, the Masters, and he's calling for the tune to be played, dude. Let's go. Just give us in here, dude. Bring us in. Nice.
Just a little taste. Just a little taste before the preview. I can picture the champions dinner right now.
Oh my god, dude, those sliders look so good.
The cowboy steak.
Oh.
So, yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to dude, the steak. Michael Buck said we'll be enjoying the Masters for the next 11 years, knowing Jim is on the call.
Yeah, they were talking about that on, I want to say it was The Fan, about how, he doesn't, there's like a countdown thing or something in the broadcast booth or something with how much time is left, and like Nance doesn't like it or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
They were just saying like the whole thing about, just living every day to the fullest, getting out on the golf course, that type of thing. 6 foot putts before 6 foot under. They were literally making those jokes on the fans.
Oh my God, that's funny. Michael Theophil comes in here, says culture change. She says Brian is right.
Yeah, and Tony is never gonna until it happens. Once it happens, then I'll get a little pat on the back.
You will not see Igor off his team. Like I that's not gonna happen. Like,
but you don't think you get like you have this like attachment, like resistance to change sometimes with your teams. It's like at this point, why would you be stuck with anybody? I mean, this season was a fucking disaster. You know what I mean? Like, be pissed off, Tony.
I am pissed off. I mean, it's ridiculous. I am tight that there's going to be no playoff hockey for the Rangers.
Yeah.
But like. Again, like you have to before you just blow everything up, you have to sit here and really ask yourself how a team that was just the best team in the regular season became one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I mean, I think
it's not because everybody sucks.
Well, I think it's pretty
not because
obvious,
of that,
though.
dude.
It's that you didn't trade guys when you had the opportunity to trade them, and now you're kind of back against the wall. Retainments, no movement
it's
clauses.
Not just that though. It is.
Though. I mean, it was so obvious that you couldn't compete with Florida last year, keeping the team the same.
Yeah, but how is the team this bad this year though? It's not much different. In fact, the team started the year off almost the same.
I mean, I said it since last year because you have a bunch of guys who are supporting cast members,
right? But
you don't have a leader, so you can't win without a leader. Who wins without a leader?
Brian, they were the best team in the regular season.
Right. And you didn't even make the Stanley Cup playoffs. And
but it was the same team. It's not that they're not good enough. They were good enough.
They were good enough. Age is a certainty, just like this. Taxes.
Less than a year, you were playing one of the better teams in the league in the playoffs.
But you're ignoring the fact that they were already getting older last year. It's like, what do you think another year does? In another year, you don't get younger.
You don't get younger, but you don't significantly drop off and miss the playoffs. Like I've never seen a team have that drop off because of age.
I mean,
not to mention, it's not like they're 40 years old on the roster.
But
like
you still, nobody was a superstar. Like, you don't win like that. It was the perfect storm coming together. Think 2011 Dallas Mavericks, but without, winning anything. That's what it is. Like, what did that team do the next year? Nothing. It's like everything has a shelf life, Tony, and you just have to realize that you can't just keep the same guys.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks where they were like a one and done. We've been building towards this every year. They were getting better.
The problem was
they were getting better. It was a rebuild. It was. It was a literal rebuild.
But the building in terms of long-term building was what? Fox and Igor. You know what I mean? You had a bunch of guys that are already in their early to mid 30s. You can't build long-term with that.
And they were great. They were amazing. You were building towards that. Like, how is there such a drop-off with every single player?
Because even
it's not just that they
you knew yourself. I mean, it's just like Panarin. As great as the season he had last year, he wasn't like, you didn't look at him as like, wow, like he's one of the top players in the league. You knew you needed more. It's not acknowledging that was the problem with Drury. That's what it is. And it's just tough to stomach, and you could say, well, they had the season, but it's like you have to adapt. That's why like Blockbuster's not around anymore. They didn't adapt. It's the same thing with the Rangers. You can't just say, oh, we were great last year, so we'll be great again. Like there's more that goes into it.
No. It wasn't like Blockbuster wasn't on top of the world one day, and then tomorrow they were gone. Like that's what happened with the Rangers. They were literally
with sports, though. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the point. Like things change quickly year to year.
Yeah.
You can't have your hands.
Listen, I agree that he should have made moves, undoubtedly. I mean, you failed. At the end of the day, you did not make the cup final. You did not hoist it. So you need to make change. But there's no reason why you can fault Drury for thinking this same roster could be just as good. Or at least making the playoffs, where at the deadline I can make a few moves, see what the market looks like, and then build more.
Yeah, but I think the thing that shows is he's not a good GM is because he didn't have the wherewithal a couple of years ago to get rid of Mika or, maybe entertain trading Kreider and just get some, more tenacious players in. And that's why we're in the situation that we are. So hopefully they just get him out of town. We'll see. I think it's time to, strike up the music.
Strike up the music, dude.
For the 89th edition, Tony, of the Masters tournament. Scotty Scheffler looking to make it 3 and 4 years.
Fully.
After a champions dinner, is he a little bloated on the practice course today? What about the par 3?
Oh, no.
No Tiger and Charlie.
Perhaps one too many pimento cheese sandwiches on the course here.
I don't know if I would really want a pimento cheese sandwich if I was at Augusta.
I don't even know what pimento cheese is.
But it looks like chicken salad without the chicken. Who will reign supreme at Augusta?
Will we see Rory complete his career Grand Slam?
Jim Nantz, 11 Masters left and counting. Who will replace Vern at 16?
We get a clock in the studio for Jim Nantz's last years.
Michael Butka crying as he sees that clock wind down on one of the greatest of all time, Jim Nantz.
Perhaps Ian Eagle will be suited to take his seat.
With Tom Watson taking the first tee shot on 1. Let's go. The Masters. Come on.
Freaking pumped, dude. This is going to be huge. Love the coverage here. Masters.com all day long, dude. Absolutely love it. You can really immerse yourself, which is why I really do think that this Masters, I mean, as well as the tradition, the course, the players, top 50 around the world, plus, I mean, however many other ones, right? So, I mean, there's so many storylines here, dude. I'm really pumped for this year. I think I'm like more pumped than any other year.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's just going to be outstanding. And, we do have this conversation every time, we talk about a major tournament, but, given live, this is only one of 4 chances where we get to see all of the best golfers, in the world playing in one tournament. So that's just what makes it exciting. And I think the difficult thing, when handicapping, this tournament is the fact that it's like we don't see these live guys much. So who's in prime form, who's not? The last couple of years, did anybody see Brooks and Bryson, winning these majors? The question was, when would a live player win a major? Would a live player win a major? So we've seen that the last 2 years. Will we see it again this year? I mean, it's just very interesting. You think about like how it changes from year to year. Going into this tournament, and we knew, he was on live, things are going to be different. But you have John Rahm have such a dominant performance, in the 2023 Masters, and was a non-factor, last year. So it's just how quickly that can change. And you look at like how much the going on live in respect to like the world golf rankings. You have two major champions, one Masters champion. I mean, talk about absolutely plummeting. Dustin Johnson, 663 in the world right now. And then Brooks Koepka, who didn't win a major last year but won the PGA the year before, 249. And it's crazy to think that Dustin Johnson, world rank rises behind Charles Schwartzel, Sergio Garcia, Danny Willett, and Zach Johnson.
So that's wild.
It just, not having those world ranking points for, for the live events really makes a big difference. And
he's not even doing that well in live, Dustin Johnson.
No, and I actually had
maybe
this
he's top
up.
25, if that.
So you look at this year. He's had one top 10 finish. Everything else has been 27th or worse. And you look at his performance last year in the majors, cut at the Masters, cut at the US Open, tied 43rd at the PGA, tied 31st at the Open. So, it's been a struggle for DJ. And I think, I don't know, some people kind of pointed to this, that maybe going over to live, would be the lack of motivation. But I think that doesn't apply for everybody. Because you see guys like Bryson and Brooks, having success over there. And, so obviously we all hope we can get them back on the PGA Tour soon. But until then, these are our opportunities to really get a good look.
That's right.
So there's just so many storylines going into this. I think it's Tiger and Jack are the only two golfers who win in back-to-back years, but Scotty would be the first to win 3 and 4 years. Obviously, he's still number one in the world, and we've been talking about this for 11 years, Tony. But if Rory could get the job done at Augusta, it would complete the career Grand Slam. And he's had a good start to his season, 2 wins already before the Masters. The hottest start he's had in his entire career. And it's interesting because you think about Rory failing in majors, failing at Augusta, but his track record, short of winning at Augusta, has been pretty good. Sure, recently, there's been, a couple missed cuts in 21 and 23, but he was runner-up in 22, 22nd last year, 5th place in 2020. And he also had, 4 more top 10s, if you go back a little bit. So he's had success at this course. And I think it's the whole thing with Rory in a major championship. Can he, give you 4 solid days? Because it feels like, he can, especially Thursday, Friday, he's there. But what is he doing over the weekend? I mean, I think that's the key, when we're talking about Rory McIlroy. So, he's an interesting storyline. I mean, is it the easy answer for you, Tony, that until he gets over the hump, you're just not going to expect him to have a chance to win a major? I mean, is it that simple?
It is. I think it is that simple, dude. I mean, it's just been there every time. The inconsistent play down the stretch, specifically at the Masters too. And we've seen, was it last year that, Bryson won the U.S. Open, or was that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was last year, and that was
the
like
bunker shot.
The bunker shot, dude.
The 4-foot
Rory
putt.
kind of blowing it. Yes, yeah, dude. I mean, tremendous bunker shot by Bryson for sure.
Yeah. But
I mean, Rory, yeah, exactly, dude. Like, come on, dude. Like, Rory could have had that in hand here, and I mean, I feel like you could probably just emulate that weekend, and that's probably what you would see Rory if he is in contention come Sunday. You never know. He could have a Saturday blow up. So I don't know, dude. Like you said, though, it's like until you really see it from him, I'm not betting on it. I know it's crazy to say too, because he's playing some of his best golf right now.
Second-ranked player in the world.
Second-ranked player in the world. He has what? He won Pebble Beach and the Players.
Yep.
This year. So it's like he's playing great golf, but it's just because of what he does. We're still sitting here questioning on whether or not he could really finish this and win the Masters, which is crazy. If you got to question it, like I said, it remains to be seen. I don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Now,
can't have it.
But do you think he has still a solid week where he's, has a respectable finish?
If I had to guess, sure. I mean, Rory top 10 finish, I would say it would be a good bet to have.
Yeah. So be interesting to see, what he does. And then, he's number 2 in the world. We talk about number 3 in the world. And that would be Xander Schauffele, who won 2 majors last season. And obviously has had a weird start to his year with the injury, missing time. So it doesn't seem like he's exactly, in prime form. But you look at his history in majors and in Augusta, I mean, it's impeccable. The last, if you go last 11 majors, his worst finish is 18th. So he's been right there at the Masters, specifically. He's had 4 top 10s, including 2, the last 2 seasons. So it seems like he's always in the conversation, and he was dealing with that kind of, Rory type of mindset, going into the last season. Well, he's always there, but is he actually going to finish? Seems like the injury has hamstrung him a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he a guy you look at that has a chance here, or you still think he needs more reps out in the course? Maybe we'll look at him later in the year, possibly at the U.S. Open or the Open Championship.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the injury is to his ribs, I believe, right?
I
think it was like an abdominal or like rib injury, which is obviously, tough to come back from in any sport. Let alone something like golf where you're swinging a club too. And did he place second at Valspar? I feel like he did well at Valspar.
I believe so. It was the rib injury, by the way.
It was rib. He did do well at Valspar. I think showing some of his better iron work since kind of coming back from this injury, which is great. You need obviously a good short game, good iron work on the Masters here. But I don't know, man. I mean, he has no wins, no top 10s this year because of definitely this injury here, and maybe he's still kind of nursing it. And even you look at some of his, some of his holes here at
12th at Valspar.
12th.
Yeah.
I feel like watching I didn't watch obviously all of him at Valspar, but what I did see of him is that he was missing some easy putts. So it's like, yes, you have some great
reps.
Iron work. Exactly. You need those reps. So I think I am kind of on your sentiment here, Brian, where maybe we see him down the stretch, the U.S. Open. But I don't know. I don't think this is right for him right now, dude. He's just not playing great golf.
And, another talented golfer, number 4 in the world, Colin Morikawa, is a 2-time major champion, but hasn't won since the 2021 Open Championship, but did have, 2 top 4 finishes in majors last year, including a tie for 3rd at the Masters. And his last 3 Masters starts have been tied for 3rd, tied for 10th, in the solo 5th back in 2022. So he's another guy you feel like, you're waiting for him to win another major, and you forget because it feels like, he's been around for a little bit. He's still only 28 years old. Is he a guy you look at that possibly could be donning the green jacket on Sunday?
Yeah, dude. I do like Morikawa here, to be honest. I mean, you look at what he's done this year too. Recently tied for 10th of the Players, then was runner-up at the Arnold Palmer
and the Century.
Yes, earlier on this year. And obviously, maybe a limited playing field here. Obviously, hasn't played since the Players. But you know what, dude? I think he's like making sure he's gearing up for this Masters. I think he specifically wanted some time off so that he would prepare himself for this tournament here to be totally dialed in. And like you said, at age 28, a guy who's been working, on his craft here, on the tour, I don't know, for 5 years. I think this is his 5th year in. I think this could be a good opportunity for him to kind of prove himself and get a major here.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's definitely a name, a lot of people have circled. Another name that people have circled, the runner-up, in the 88th Masters tournament last year, Ludwig Aubert. And, he's had an up and down year, but did win at Torrey Pines for the Genesis.
The Genesis Invitational.
Already 5 career wins, and, he's only 25 years old. What do you think about Aubert's chances at Augusta?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Aubert is someone we've been following, someone that we've constantly been having circled on our list for tournaments. But I mean, right now he's just not playing great golf. I think he's coming off back-to-back cuts, I'm pretty sure, for this tournament. So, yes, he won the Genesis. He looked good, but I don't know. I think in this field, the way he's playing golf, I mean, I think he'll be on the outside looking in here. We've seen him blown some easy putts, some chip shots as well, blowing past the green here this year. And obviously, it's something he's been working on for sure. But obviously the Masters isn't a time to be working on stuff, dude. You got to perform at the top of your level. And yes, I loved to have seen him last year, runner up. That's awesome. Another young talent in the PGA that's going to be around for a while. But again, I think right now, I just think the level playing field, he's just not on par. No pun intended.
Yeah. So, right? It'll be interesting to see, what he does this week. And then rounding out the top 5, I think a guy that we don't really think of when you're talking about top golfers in the world. So I think that makes him, slightly underrated. But that would be Hideki Matsuyama, who won the Masters back in 2021. Since then, he's tied for 14th, tied for 16th, and tied for 38th. And he did have at other majors, 6th at the US Open last year, 4th in 2022. So he's been in contention. He's made all of his cuts in majors, since winning that Masters tournament. At times the last couple of years, he's dealt with some injuries, and he's another guy, it feels like he's been around forever, but he is still 33 years old. So you would think, still squarely in the prime of his career. What do you think about his chances this week at Augusta?
I didn't know that stat about him making every cut at a major. That's great, obviously.
Since winning.
Oh, since Masters, winning the Masters.
But he hasn't missed that many cuts in majors. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, he's been playing majors since 2011. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a great track record, no doubt.
5. But still. That's a lot of majors.
No, yeah, it's a lot of majors. Yeah. I get it's unfortunate because he's also a player who's working off of back-to-back cuts at the Players, at Valero here.
Won the Century.
Did win the Century, the first tournament of the year.
No top 10s.
Since then, no top 10s. So I don't know. Again, it's so tough because, this guy could come in today and play his best golf ever. Like any one of these golfers could for sure. But again, I like to go by how they're doing right now and the back-to-back cuts. Yes, Valero, the win was kind of nuts. But the Players to miss those cuts back-to-back, you're definitely – something's off, So, and again, like we said, no top 10 since the first tournament of the season. I would bet this guy's outside top 25, honestly.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right.
That's right.
And other than that, before we get to our predictions here, just we know it well, we know it better than any other course, but Augusta National established 1934, par 72, 7,555 yards. You got your prize fund of $20 million, your course record, tournament record. Dustin Johnson, well, it was in November, it was still the record, 268 minus 20. So it's tough to think that that's going to be matched, but since then, the lowest score to par has been minus 12 from Rahman 23. We know Scotty won his 2 and 3 years last year at 11 under. Both of those wins were 4-shot victories the last 2 years. Scotty in 22 at 10 under was 3 strokes clear. 21, you had Hideki Matsuyama 10 under, 1 stroke over Zalatoris. And then of course, like we said, DJ in 2020. And it seems like eons ago, but 2019, Tiger winning his 5th green jacket, 13 under par, 1-shot victory over DJ Koepka and Xander Schauffele. A lot of firepower. You don't usually have guys, come out of the woodwork that win this tournament. Michael,
Connor McDavid.
I would look at it, going back to, 2010, you had Schwartzel in 2011, that kind of came out of nowhere. And then you want to say Danny Willett in 2016 and maybe Patrick Reed in 2018, even though he was kind of rising to prominence at that point. But, that's going back, almost 15 years and, you only have a couple surprises. So usually the golfer that's winning this tournament is someone that we're very familiar with. It seems like that is the track record.
Yeah, that's what happens again when you have these top ranked golfers. They're all playing high level. They all know everyone else is playing high level, so there's no surprises. Everyone's on top of their game. Dude, are you asking me who the winner is right now?
Let's rip it, as you would say.
That's right. That's what I would say. Man, it's tough, dude. It's funny. Jay asked me this, and he has
his prop bets.
He's definitely putting his prop bets right now because he gave me the Scotty or Rory or the field, and I think I'm gonna go field here. I'm not picking Scotty or Rory.
Or Rory, yep.
Which is pretty crazy. I kind of like Morikawa's. I guess we went over some of his stats here and what he's been done and what he's been doing recently. But I'm gonna go Xander. I think I'm gonna go Xander wins this one, dude. I know it is interesting. I do think maybe I was watching a press conference of him yesterday, and he does seem to be in great spirits about this weekend. Very lax, very positive though. So I think he knows that that he can be in contention. He knows he can go toe to toe with these golfers at Masters here. And like I said, he's had some great iron work in the past couple of tournaments at Valspar. He noted that, yes, he can work on some of his putting, but I think that will come around for this tournament specifically. Maybe he's not the best guy necessarily or has the longest drive, but I think with his iron work, with some of his putting that he's been kind of, weeding out some of his mistakes here this season, getting over that injury, I think he's going to surprise a lot of players and a lot of guys by kind of, floating around, top 5, top 3, come in Sunday and have an absolute day on Sunday and take this thing home. So I'm going to say Xander takes it. I'm going to say 11 under par, which I think is, pretty standard. And then for a sleeper, dude. It's tough. I guess. I don't know. How many sleepers are there really with this pool?
You got the Davis Rileys, the Patton Kaziris, the Kevin Hughes, the Johnny Vegases.
Johnny Vegas, dudes.
The Bernard Langer playing in his last
Bernard Langer
Masters tournament.
Absolutely not. I guess you can give me. I know I'm taking way too much time here. Can I do JJ Spawn? Is that
yeah? That's legal.
Do JJ Spawn. I think that is legal. That is kosher. That is right. Obviously, this guy, we've seen him perform well this year. I think he's definitely someone who could be a lock to make a cut or a top 25 prop bet. And I say maybe he can come out of the woodworks. Him and his caddy have a great relationship. I think they can definitely navigate.
You don't think the caddy's hungover this time?
I think the caddy will be hungover, dude. Maybe not even hungover, just so drunk, dude.
From the
players, dude. Obviously, the placing second there, coming off of a cut at the Houston Open, tough. The wind, whatever, dude. But we've seen a good level of play from JJ Spawn here. So I think he's someone who could maybe be sneaking around. I know we said not a lot of guys will come out of the woodworks here. This is the most woodworks I think we'll get. JJ Spawn, I said he'll win at 13 under.
All right.
Bang.
And it was nice because I all along, kind of just going through things. I liked Morikawa, but was gonna pivot, Tony, if you went with Morikawa.
I almost did, honestly, with Morikawa.
But I'm glad you didn't. And I think the reason being here, been a little while since he's won a major, like we said, 2021. His performance at all these majors is usually strong. He's always in the conversation. And you look at his numbers, when you look, at the analytics here, he doesn't really have much weakness in his game. Off the tee, he's 12th, approaching the green, he's first, around the green, he's 34th, putting 59th. Okay. But that's still solid. The one thing I guess total driving distance and all drives, he lacks there 168, 144. But I just think, I know we love, Bryson popping out of his shirt, having the 350-yard drives, but approach game is very important. General consistency. So that's why they always would say, you drive for show, you putt for dough. So I just think the all-around game of Colin Morikawa, just really suits Augusta National well. And I think he's going to be, donning his first career green jacket, taking it from Scotty on Sunday at Butler Cabin. So I'm going to say he's going to win this tournament at 14 under par. And then, if I had to go with a sleeper, I'm going to say it makes no sense, but just kind of muscle memory from the course, being that he is a past champion and he has the best score to par ever at Augusta National. Give me Dustin Johnson. I don't know. I always he was one of my favorite golfers pre-live. And obviously things have fallen apart since. But it just feels like he's due to, have another run or two. It's not like he's 60 years old. He's 40. So give me DJ, and if he were to win, I'm going to say it would be 16 under par.
Wow, low scores
and
here.
Nance would say a return to glory, similar to the Tiger Woods call back in 2019.
Yes, dude. If you Oh, I guess Dustin Johnson would be your answer if there's a Live Tour golfer to win, huh? You really think?
Well, as a sleeper, but I mean, obviously Bryson's up there, Brooks is up there. Cam Smith, I haven't liked what I've seen last couple of years, since winning the Open Championship. But yeah, I mean, I think if you had to look at one, and that's why I didn't mention him because he's not a sleeper, but I would definitely say Bryson. I mean, Bryson has looked, the part of the last couple of years.
How do you think Rahm's going to be doing here? I know he's not been doing great in Live, but I think he leads the tour in birdies made or something like that. So,
I think he's up there. I mean, I think the three of them, with Koepka, I mean, those are your top three you have circled.
You think they're within top 10 on the leaderboard?
I mean, maybe top 15. Yeah.
It's crazy about Jon Rahm too, the fall that he has, and Cam too, for that matter too.
Both of those guys are squarely in the top 5.
Yeah,
I mean, it just makes the tour that much better. But listen, I mean, we got to deal with what we have, and I think regardless of who wins, who makes the cut, who doesn't, it's just going to be a fantastic, Masters
amped up, dude.
Tournament. That's for sure. The wall-to-wall coverage, that's going to be great. You got the par 3.
We should get some pimento cheese in here, dude. I want to try.
We should get the pimento cheese.
With the crust cut off.
Starting at 12 o'clock today on ESPN Plus, and then it'll be available on terrestrial ESPN at 2 o'clock. Before we have our first tee shots tomorrow, 8:45. So really, really looking forward to that. Masters.com, the ESPN app, ESPN will have the first 2 days of coverage before it moves over to CBS. But like I said, it's just going to be a fantastic tournament. So excited to watch it and so excited to be able to tune in live tomorrow. That'll be great as well.
Yes.
And Zach, if you had to give us somebody, what are you thinking here?
I'm going to go Rory.
Getting it going finally.
I know we covered it extensively last year here, the divorce, the poor play.
Yes.
I'm going to root for him. I hope he gets a win here. He needs it to get the Grand Slam. So
And I think it is one of those convenient things, almost similar to McDavid, not to strike up that chord again. But just because, it's like the easy thing. Oh, well, no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And it's like, well, like eventually, like people do things and win. Almost similar to Giannis, back a couple years ago at the Bucks. Right. So I like that pick. I think that's gonna be great.
It's nice to know someone is rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're really rooting against him, Tony. It's a McDavid McElroy.
Well, no, but obviously, like I'm gonna root for Xander to win. Like I'm not gonna root for Rory.
Right. No, but just the way you said it seemed like there was animosity, but not such the case.
Like the both of us didn't pick him, is what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm not sure. I mean, I want my pick to win. I want to see Morikawa win, but it's like I don't know. There's not like a McDavid animosity about it. That's all I was saying.
I don't hate McDavid. Like, do you know that?
I think you do.
Like, honestly. I just don't.
I think it's like because you can't handle the fact that you've went hard one way with this, and you're just not. There's no U-turn. You know what I mean? You're going straight into the brick wall, and you have to admit there's a chance that. This is 2025, Tony. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Things happen. Like you can't say this will never happen. Like it's like those type of it's not realistic. Like I said, like it's like who would have thought that Gretzky would have left Edmonton? You go back to the archives, look up the articles, look at what Doc Emmerich said about it at one point.
Yeah, but you're talking about this as if it'll happen. Like, it's not going to be within the next 5 years. Like it's not going to be 2020.
It could.
It's not.
It could.
Of course it could. Pigs can fly out my ass.
I mean, I'm sure Gary Cohen was saying that the Mets are going to let DeGrom go at some point. That
possibly. Yeah, sure. So
it's like, that's what I'm saying. We can't be sure.
You can't be sure either way, though. You can't be sure that he would leave.
Either way, though. That's the thing.
It's either way.
So I mean that's what we got for Augusta. Like I said, looking forward to it. But let's switch gears to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Jump it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. Unfortunately, there goes Sia. Another loss for the Yankees yesterday. So I'm not going to have too much of a breakdown here. I mean, you get shut out 5-0. Yes, Skubal was on the mound.
He was great.
Carrasco wasn't. But at the end of the day, I mean, 6 hits and no runs. I mean, you're not winning any games that way. So, it was unfortunate too. And you look at this, in greater detail. The top 3 in your lineup, combined for those 6 hits in 12 at bats, and then you take away those 12 at bats, you're 0 for 20. With 6 strikeouts. So it's just not going to get the job done. 0 for 5 runs in scoring position. So, I mean, it doesn't fall on any individual specifically. Right. I think just everybody just had a poor performance yesterday, and it's early, and it's tough for me. I'm the biggest example of this. Just not to get all jacked up, bent out of shape about this game, because it just wasn't pretty. It doesn't give you good confidence, because you're thinking, going against a pitcher, that's a good to the plus. But you just have to keep in mind that it's April. You have to have a short-term memory, and that's what the Yankees are gonna have to do. Quick turnaround. First pitch from Comerica Park, a little over 2 hours away. As we will see a pitching matchup of Max Fried, going up against Jack Flaherty. And the last time, the Yankees faced Flaherty was Game 5 of the World Series, where they actually did hit him around before we had, unfortunately, House of Horrors or whatever you want to call it after that. All the mistakes that ultimately lost, that game. But, you have a history against this guy. And it's interesting, the lineup a little different than yesterday. You get Bellinger back in there, and there was the whole thing. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but how he was out yesterday actually because of food poisoning, because of wings.
Oh, that's what it was.
He posted that he was eating wings again.
Wait, what?
Yesterday, giving another try or something. He made a post like that. I don't know if it was from the same place or not. I don't know too much about it, but I mean, especially if it's not from the same place. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If it is from the same place, I mean,
what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, probably bad batch though.
Food poisoning from wings. A place in the Bronx.
Well, I mean, they're in Detroit.
Oh, in Detroit. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, good call.
But everybody was kind of making a big deal about that. But just get a couple of hits, send one deep. That's all we care about. But in terms of the lineup, so you got Ben Rice at DH leading off, Aaron Judge in right, Cody Bellinger in center, Goldschmidt at first, and then you have Jazz at second, Volpe at short, Dominguez in left, JC Escarra getting the second start of his major league career. And then Oswaldo Cabrera batting ninth, playing third base. So, like I mentioned, Flaherty versus Fried. Fried was really good his last start after kind of an uneven performance first time out. I think this is a good opportunity today. If you're Max Fried, if you're the Yankees, I mean, you need to do what Detroit did to you yesterday with Skubal.
Absolutely.
And just absolutely dominate them. Get on the board early. That's what the Tigers did yesterday, hitting those few home runs. And it was ironic because I was talking about how, given the conditions, you're not hitting home runs. Well, clearly you can't hit home runs. So that is, there's no excuse for you. Really, I mean, it goes back 3 games, and that's why you have a 3-game losing streak. You had 1 run till the 9th inning Sunday against Pittsburgh. You scored, 2 runs on Monday against Detroit, and then you're shut out yesterday. So you have to swing the bats. Yes, it's cold, but other teams like Detroit are swinging the bats in this cold weather, so you have to get it done. Despite it looking very ugly, I still am confident that they will be able to, bounce back today, salvage this series before you go home to face the San Francisco Giants, who are, one of the hottest teams in the majors. So, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say for today's game, because obviously you want the bats to come back a little bit, but you also, I don't know. For me, I feel like this is a big moment for Max Fried to kind of prove himself.
Yeah.
Would you rather see this game won like 2-0, 1-0, or like a 10-7?
I mean, I think it's not out of the question to expect both, where it's not 10-6, it's 10-0, but maybe not 10-0, but it's 7-8 to 3, like something like that.
Yeah, that wasn't the question though.
No, well, I'm just saying I'm expecting both. I don't think it's one or the other. Fried's not getting bombs and we're hitting. That's the answer to the question, Tony. It doesn't have to be
all right,
like that.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, don't ask a question if you want to hear the answer.
Yeah. I mean, of course, dude, of course. My apologies,
but right,
dude.
I mean, I know Fried was really good last time, but I just think, the Yankee pitching in general has not been. So it's like, I know it's tough to have him do all the heavy lifting, but that's why you signed him to an 8-year contract.
Exactly.
So you want to see both him and Lev set the tone.
Here. Yeah, he absolutely set the tone. You said big statement game, I think, for the Yankees to get back. And I'm looking forward to a good Max Fried start, honestly.
Yeah.
He's due.
Yeah, so that's 110 Prime Video. So definitely want to get that sour taste out of your mouth and get a win, get back in the handshake line. So let's do it. What was it? Is it 5 in a row, 6 in a row for the Mets yesterday?
6 in a row.
6 in a row. 10-5.
That's right, dude.
Over the lowly Marlins.
An outstanding game here, by the Mets. And honestly, it looked a little rough to start off, to be honest.
Can't do with the mush for a second.
Dude, I couldn't.
Were you
dude.
actually
I was like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. It's like who does that, dude?
Right.
Like, who does that? And if you don't know, because you wouldn't know at home, but we're obviously at this point, Yankee game over, Mets game just starting, okay? And Kev doing our group chat is like, yo, I just came out of the basement, my phone wasn't working. Who won the Yankees game and who's gonna lose the gonna win the Mets game?
And not to interrupt there, but that's a perfect example of the flaw. And it's like, Kev, we know what the scores are. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you really think we're falling for that one?
And it's also like, who just done? Like, I think our game it's just started, and of course, dude, all of us 2-0, instantaneously, literally. Like, I sent the text, like, I was looking at it, and then I look at the score, and it's 2-0, and I'm like, what? Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
You don't do that, okay? Like, again, any mush thing, it's you don't mess with that. But in any case, here we do kind of settle down. Clay Holmes settles down. It's very interesting. This Marlins series, because we played them so close. We played them like a few days ago, like 5 days ago, whatever it was. And they also had the same 2 pitchers. They had Kadai, they had Clay. So it's like, I don't know. It seemed like that Miami was just ready for both of these pitchers, because they played them so recently. They probably watched the exact at-bats that they just had with them. And like the Marlins did too. I mean, they stacked a bunch of lefties against Clay Holmes, which caused some problems. I mean, he gives up a leadoff single to Edwards. But then again, I mean, he gets Stowers to pop out. He strikes out Mervis. So again, like you always say, Brian, the strikeout stuff is there. Walks Conine, walks Lopez. He gives up a single to Hicks, who scores, Conine and Edwards. So it's 2-0 just like that, then gets Hill to line out. I think it was first pitch too. Yeah, first pitch, lines right out, of course, classic. After the damage has been done. But you do get here Francisco Lindor at the bottom of the first. Again, against Gillespie, a pitcher they also just faced too. So maybe, you could say it's the same thing here. But Lindor, who extends his leadoff hit streak to 6 games or 5 games, I think now.
It's 5.
I think it's 5 too. And hits his first homer of the year. I mean, let's freaking go, dude. This was absolutely huge. Split the deficit to just 1 here. Takes a cutter over the middle of the plate. Takes it all the way to the right field, 390 feet, which is great. The only scoring of that inning, which is fine. And then Clay Holmes does come in and kind of settles down. And then, again, Sanger behind home plate here, I think did a great job. Because he caught Sonoja stealing in the second here. He's got a great arm, I think. Very accurate, which is great, too, to see. But I guess moving along here to the bottom of the third, we get a couple more scores here by the Mets and 2-out scores here. Soto with a nice 2-out single to right field. A sweeper. It was a 6-pitch at bat. Again, obviously I've been watching Soto's at bats a little bit closer. That eye is great, obviously. For him to work counts, he started this count, up 2-0, which again is just him about laying off some tough pitches that were around the strike zone. And then Alonso with a huge double to score Soto. That made it 2-2, tie it up here. Holmes comes in the fourth, strikes out the side in the fourth. So again, like, when Holmes is working, his strikeout stuff is very efficient, dude. When he's locating that fastball, when his sinker has good movement on it. Obviously, he still hasn't been throwing his new changeup a ton. I guess he's been working on some things, whatever. But still, when it is there, it's lethal. So you have to see that. And then we're going to go here, bottom of the fifth, for some more scoring here for the Mets. Sanger gets a leadoff single. Lindor grounds out to fielder's choice. Sanger safe at second. So you have, 1 out right there. Sanger on second. Or actually, I think, no. That was the error, I think, right? First baseman, I think, bobbled the ball. Lindor was safe, I believe. Which obviously, yes, Miami, bad defense basically the entire game, to be honest. But still, you got to be excited with it. Alonso works a walk there. Nimmo doubles to left, which is probably the first good I've seen out of Nimmo, I guess, this year, even though he's had a home run, whatever. But I just feel like, and then they bat him cleanup a lot too. I mean, I just feel like his bat hasn't been that great. We've talked about like Lindor, Soto, Alonso getting on base, and then like after that, it's just strikeouts and groundouts, and it's 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. You know, so it's nice to see Nimmo get going here. Obviously, at this point, they pull Gillespie. They bring in Curry. Marte singles off of him. 2 runs right there. Makes it 6-2, dude. We do get Holmes coming in the 6th. Gets into a little bit of trouble here. Mervis flies out, so it's 1 out. Then he walks Conine. Lopez doubles to center, so you have runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out with this 4-run lead. And I don't know. I mean, I guess Holmes, I'm not sure what his final pitch count was. It must have been high, dude. 87, I guess. Which I guess is kind of high, but they pull him after this. I don't know. If I was Mendoza, I guess really there's no wrong answer, I suppose. I probably would have left him out there to try to finish the inning. But his final line after leaving the game is 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 10 Ks. Again, when he was reaching back for some of those pitches he needed to, they were efficient, they were located very well, and he was able to get those 10 Ks. So I think 10 Ks is great for him. So I don't know. Again, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Mendoza necessarily made a bad move here. Obviously, it's tough because Brazoban comes in. He does give up some runs here. A hit grounds out to first to score Conine. Obviously not an earned run for him. But he gives a home run to Hill, his first home run given up this season. Brazoban has been great in otherwise. But that was kind of tough, dude. I mean, I think to see, and obviously at this point, it's a 5-6 game. And he just threw a changeup over the middle. So, you hate to see a mistake like that to make this game relatively close. But you know what, dude? The Mets bats were super hot. They answer back in the 6th here. Kind of interesting move here. But Brett Beatty reaches an infield single. Nice to see him running kind of hard.
First hit of the year.
First hit of the year, dude. Which, again, maybe he can get something going. But Acuna comes in and runs for Beatty. You have to see that. Because Sanger, which a great bunt, dude. Again, Sanger like showing some good situational stuff here. From the 29 or 27-year-old. I forget how old he is. But in any case, Acuna's at 2nd. He's at 1st now. Lindor fight at the center. Moves Acuna up to 3rd. All right. And then they pull Curry. They bring in Henriquez. And they walk Soto to get to Alonso, which is an interesting move. I get it. Obviously, Soto is a threat nonetheless. But Alonso is our best hitter right now. Yeah. And what does he do? He ropes a double to left, and that clears the bags. So it's 9-5, just like that. Alonso's 2nd double of the game. Love to see that. And obviously, not much scoring happens afterwards. You get a sac fly RBI by Lindor to make it 10-5. And you get Reed Garrett coming in the 9th. And it was 3 up, 3 down for him. No doubt about that. A huge 10-5 victory here for the Mets as they get ready for their 110 game today. But you love to see that 13 hits as a team, 10 runs scored. Obviously the Mets are playing some great ball right now. I mean, and obviously they can still do better with runners in scoring position. You still have those guys in the bottom half of your lineup, either just grounding out or striking out or stuff like that. I really can't tell you this year. That is kind of tough because you see so many times runner on 2nd or 3rd, no outs. And then it's just like ground outs to 3rd base. Yeah. Nobody can move. Situational hitting just isn't that great. But obviously, hey, like Alonso's on fire right now. Lindor on fire as well. Soto was 2 for 4 with a walk. Obviously, not scoring necessarily, but he's been batting .308. And like I said, I mean, if he wasn't that much of a threat, they could have pitched to him. Instead, they walk him. Alonso gets that double, clears the bags. It's an entire new game. Right. The game, it was a 1-run game before that. So it's like, it seemed like the Marlins were going to be knocking on the door for the rest of the game. And it'd be one of those just like nail biting, like bullpen 1-run games. Instead, it's a 5-run win. And you're stoked. I mean, you're moving on to today, obviously. Like I said, the quick turnaround, the weather, I know it's crazy, ridiculous, but we do get McGill on the mound. which is great because McGill actually hasn't pitched against the Marlins this year. His 2 starts were against, I guess, Houston and Toronto, right? Obviously. And through those 2 starts, he is 2-0 with a .87 ERA, 10 1/3 innings pitched, has 10 Ks, only 5 hits given up with those 4 walks. I think that came predominantly against Houston. They had 3 walks against Houston, 1 walk against Toronto. So no, he's been pitching great. Obviously, someone who maybe didn't expect to be in the rotation come opening day, but he's certainly been rising to the occasion as most of the Mets starting rotation has. I would imagine Clay Holmes definitely has the highest ERA of a rotation at this point. But in any case, I mean, obviously you feel good. I mean, the Mets, like I said, are kind of humming here. You're on, you got that. You're undefeated at home right now. You're on that 6-game win streak. And it's the Marlins. So you would anticipate to complete the sweep here and go into the later part of this week. I think we're going to the A's after this, I think. Yep. Yeah. Which again, quirks of the schedule. You got a couple easy teams here. This is when you want your players like Alonso, like Soto to get in those rhythms so that when you then face off against your first tough team, which is, I don't even know who, because I think after the A's, you have the Cardinals. I think maybe you have the Phillies after the Cardinals, maybe.
Phillies are the first.
Phillies are going to be the first, big series here. So you want to take all this momentum into the series against the Phillies. And like I said, right now, I think, because your bullpen, your rotation is doing so well, which has been totally unexpected, and some of your batters are coming around, which obviously has been expected. You feel pretty good about a win this game. Obviously, you want some other guys to get going, like maybe a Vientos, who's just been absolute dog shit. Yeah, Beatty too, we mentioned, but hey, man, I mean, you got to feel pretty good. You're 8-3 right now, and everything's humming. Everything's going well.
Yeah. And I think the A's series will be interesting because the balls have been flying out of that park like no other. The overs hit in every game or almost every game. So you're going to need some good pitching there for sure because I think you're going to see a lot of runs scored in that series.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Crazy where the A's are playing. But hey, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's kind of embarrassing, the shed for the press conferences.
Not good.
But that's how that franchise is.
Yeah.
So sure,
Coyotes-esque.
Fisher, once they he gets a higher valuation and the park's built, I'm sure he'll sell the team and collect all the money that he stole from everybody in the revenue sharing aspect of things. But
really, it's crazy.
Yeah, but I guess you live, you learn.
That's what they say, dude.
But I think it's time to strike up the grid.
My gosh, yes. Let's strike up the grid.
I think you always forget about the grid.
I do. Again, I'm like at this point, especially because of the Masters today, dude.
Yes,
I mean, this morning was all
Masters.
All Masters, dude.
Yes.
I mean, I think we did a pretty good job in the breakdown.
So an interesting one. I hope Ernie's on standby.
Oh, is this tough?
The Pirates and the White Sox in one
always
grid
the tough, dude.
Is just the absolute dagger.
Dallas Keuchel, Stroh's White Sox.
I mean,
is that gonna be too high?
Back burner?
Yeah, sure. What
I was gonna say Tyler Clippard, Blue
sure.
Jays and Astros.
Okay, that's a good one. Oh my God, Detroit and Chicago too.
You want me to do it?
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. No,
for a second, I was thinking red there. I don't know why. Just like it was just
nervous.
The nervous. Oh, you nervous, dude? All right. So we get started there. Boy, the Pirates thing is annoying.
Oh man, dude.
Detroit White Sox. Maglio's probably high.
Detroit, Pittsburgh. Was Chapman ever on Detroit? No.
Maglio, but you think it's high? Or do we just go with what we know, and if it's high, it's high?
I guess.
Right?
I mean, I'm not
just
gonna
do those first two and just see what happens.
Oh God, this is tough, dude.
A's, White Sox. Was Ricky Henderson on the Blue Jays?
Ernie says he's here, by the way.
Oh, good.
Which is great, dude. Ricky Henderson, I think, was on the Blue Jays.
I'm just trying to think. Houston, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is brutal.
A's, White Sox.
A's, Blue Jays.
White Sox. Detroit. I mean, do we go?
Betterment for Tigers, White Sox.
Okay, so Tigers, White Sox. Zach, top, middle. Wilson, Betterment.
That's what Ernie said, by the way. I don't know if I said that.
Well, I mean, I figured it's Ernie with Betterment, right?
Yeah. Our boy, he says.
He's Blue Jays.
Moises Alou for any of these?
Who was the guy that was traded for Josh Donaldson? Third baseman. And like the A's got killed on the trade. I always forget who it was. But I mean, we could do Donaldson. It might just be high. Just trying to think if there was.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's other guys too. I guess whatever. Just do Donaldson bottom right.
Yeah, get it done.
60
Put it in there, dude.
You think 60%? 16. All right. I mean, that's actually
not bad,
better than
dude.
I thought. And just do Keuchel for top left. Just get numbers out there.
Dallas Keuchel. There we go, dude.
Maybe not everybody thinks of the White Sox. All right. I mean, that's way better than I thought. 7%.
Oh yeah, so I'm a little delayed here on my phone.
Gotcha,
so 7%, that's great.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
dude. That's pretty good.
There we go.
All right, and then the A's and the White Sox. Well, Frank Thomas, but you think?
I would say that would be the higher one.
But does everybody think about Thomas and the A's though?
I guess no.
Yeah, do Frank Thomas.
But I don't even know who else there is, dude.
Well, that's why we just take it and run with it,
dude.
It's probably 20%,
23%.
But we're moving though.
We are moving. The needle's being moved here. Houston, Pittsburgh is interesting.
Pittsburgh is just interesting.
Yeah, dude.
You know, I don't know. Was Jason Kendall on the A's? I know he was not. I know he went somewhere else. I don't know. I was thinking it was there, but
A's roster isn't really my forte here.
Yeah. No. Damn it. I forgot Gio wasn't on the Pirates.
No, he was not.
He's A's Detroit, of course.
A's Detroit, dude.
Detroit Blue Jays David Wells. So bottom middle.
That's a good one, dude. Bottom middle, dude.
7%.
Detroit, Pittsburgh.
So all Pittsburgh.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, do you just want to do fucking Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole.
I mean, that's gonna be the highest.
Where's Ernie?
Actually, I haven't checked the comments actually in a little bit.
All he gives is his Betterman here.
Pitts Astros. Moises Alou, he says.
Alou. Okay.
It's so funny.
Alou.
That's so funny. Dude.
Moises
Alou, dude. That's our boy. Definitely better.
I forget Alou played on Pittsburgh.
Oh, man.
1%. That's a good one.
There we go, dude. Of course, now Pittsburgh, Detroit.
Tigers, Pirates is Dotel. Okay. R.I.P. Yeah, we forgot to mention that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he passed away yesterday. Terrible is right,
the Dominican Republic, maybe 60 people missing still.
Really?
The roof collapsed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Nelson
That absolutely terrible, dude.
Too. Oh, terrible. Detroit and Pittsburgh, Octavio Dotel.
Again, I never knew he was on the Pirates.
And then A's Pirates.
Laureano? Was Laureano over on the Pittsburgh?
Was Marte on the A's?
I think he was.
Because where was
I can picture him in green.
For some reason I can, but I'm not like
Bullet Joe Bush, he says.
Bullet Joe Bush, okay.
There we go.
Do it. That'll probably be low, and the score will still be high, but nevertheless, it's always good to just get through a grid.
Yeah.
So I guess Joe Bullet, maybe put Bullet for a sec.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if Marte was on. I'm gonna double check that. Marte
67. All right, not bad. So we'll take what we can get here. But if we could go now, Zach, to the world.
Marte was on Oakley, by the way.
Of the National Hockey League. I had a feeling.
Yep, me too.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rick Washington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak,
The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So, a lot of games in the National Hockey League last night. Rangers were off. They'll be back today, but we've talked, early and often, about how season, unfortunately, is over. But, around the league, there's a lot of teams that are still gunning, for playoff position. And I think we had some great games last night. I think the ones that everybody had circled, were the Panthers Maple Leafs, which you saw the Panthers win 3-1, their 45th win of the year there. Very, very surprising with the scoring there. Only 4 goals. Bobrovsky only had to face 17 shots, but the Panthers getting the job done like we've seen over the last couple of years. And then last game of the night, maybe the best game of the night, Charlie Coyle, the hero in Colorado, 3-2 win for the Avalanche over the Golden Knights. When you look at those two teams, Tony, I mean, is there much separation for you, or is that at the flip of a coin? I mean, as to why they were playing in a shootout?
Yeah, I guess you can say it's a flip of the coin. I mean, I think anyone would maybe lean the Avalanche because I think their roster goes a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at the record, you look at how they played each other as well. I mean, it's always tight. You would anticipate a 7-game series to go the distance here. So, but hey, it makes for great hockey. Shootout too. I mean, again, this is if this was a playoff matchup, we don't go to overtime. We don't go to a shootout. It would just keep going and going. Okay. And that's what you would see here. So yeah, there's not much disparity here in terms of the difference of talent on these two teams. Like I said, it would be any given night, one of these teams could beat the other.
And look at the West playoff series for the 2-3 matchups: Dallas versus Colorado, and then the Oilers versus the Kings. So
like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
the Gretzky series.
The Gretzky series. Yes, dude. And honestly, I mean, if I'm the Kings, I'm happy about that matchup.
The Kings have
been playing some great hockey as of late, as they have been all year long, no doubt. But,
getting the home ice.
They were a wild card team. Maybe I don't know, a month ago, maybe.
But it's just that home performance all season is
unbelievable.
What has catapulted them into a top 3 position.
And now they would start that series at home.
And you also have some good 2-3 matchups in the Eastern Conference. Tampa and Florida, the Battle of Florida.
That's right.
And then Carolina, New Jersey. I mean, maybe that one is a little more one-sided. I don't know, because it just seems like the Devils, like obviously they're solid, they're in the playoffs, but I don't know. I don't know. How good are they really? Tony,
Yeah, I mean they got beat yesterday by Boston, but I mean big.
Yeah.
I forget, maybe
7-2.
7-2.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Are they still without? They've been playing with Hughes, right? I haven't really checked in on the Devils honestly in a little while. Let me see here. Sort of the box score of this Boston game here. Jesper Bratt. Yeah, Hughes has still been out. So, I mean, listen, this a much different team when Jack does return for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to. And I think you have some guys too on the team, like an Andres Palat, who can really help in terms of some length here. And Markstrom's been playing great for the Devils too. So I think it's, a tough game. Tough series, but yeah, I mean, Carolina, talk about depth on their squad. I mean, they've been going through players every year and still being just as good as they are as the last one, So
yeah. And it's interesting too. Carolina, I mean, for instance, the Sabres shutting them out last night. I feel like it's every sport that this happens though. At the end of this season, the bad teams, right?
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable that we see this.
Especially with Buffalo. I mean, they love playing great when games don't matter.
Right.
Right. I don't know if it's a curse of the Buffalo thing. If you talk to any Sabres fans, oh my God. I mean, they have a tough life for sure. But yeah, RJ?
Right? Isn't RJ the Sabres fan?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. There's a professor of Sacred Heart too, Professor Golda. Shout out to him. Big Buffalo guy, Bills, Sabres, the whole kit and caboodle. And he grew up a Buffalo fan too. So he's just like, I know what depression is,
And wasting another big season from Thompson and Tuck.
Yeah, dude.
44 for Thompson, 34 for Tuck.
It really is a shame too. And I think looking at a solid year. I don't know, man. They have so much young talent. Owen Power, right, on the team as well. They still have Rasmus Dahlin, I think, too, right? So it's like you got all these first-round draft picks kind of really cultivated on this one roster. You just can't figure it out. I mean, I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just culture or it's just the
Lindley a little long in the tooth.
A little long in the tooth for sure. Obviously didn't work out with the Devils.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they need a different coach, a spark, Marty St. Louis, perhaps, dude. I mean, we can see what he's been doing with Montreal.
Right.
With their young talent pool. But it's a shame. The Sabres, for me, were kind of a dark horse team this season. And I mean, like every other year they don't live up to anything.
I was just thinking about this, talking about coaches, and, we're obviously assuming that Peter is going to be showing the door. Have you had any thoughts about who the next coach should be?
Oh, my God. No, dude. And I fucking hate it. I mean, I feel like since high school, I've just been seeing a revolving door, a carousel of coaches for the Rangers. And I mean, you get new guys. You get guys who are coming off of hot streaks, like Gallant, honestly, from Vegas. Yeah. You got a guy like Alain Vigneault. You get someone like Peter Laviolette, who's been in won cups before. And David Quinn, who is, I don't even know where he is.
He was in San Jose,
but I think they can. So I don't probably know where. And it's interesting because, I mean, not for nothing. What's his name? The coach for Edmonton, Knobloch.
Assistant coach for Pittsburgh, by the way, Quinn.
Oh, is he really? Yeah. Oh, that makes sense because Sullivan was talking about him. Knobloch, the coach for the Oilers, he used to coach the Wolfpack, dude. Mm-hmm. In Hartford, like he was their coach. And it's like, how do you have a guy like that who honestly went to Edmonton and made that team better? What the fuck?
In your building.
Like, yeah, literally in your building in Hartford. I know nobody really looks in Hartford for anything, but like, give me a break.
Well, if you want to get shot, you could go there.
Exactly. Yes. If you want to get murdered. So it's like, I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I would think, let's go to a new guy, some fresh blood.
Like a college coach
or
assistant that's never coached before. Yes. Not a retread.
Exactly. Not a retread, or maybe a player who's never coached before. Again, I point to like a St. Louis.
Brian Leach.
They pluck him from his kids' peewee hockey team.
Yeah.
Like never coached at a high level ever. And he's doing great for Montreal. So it's like you got to find a guy who obviously knows the game, loves the game, and can connect to these players, because we spoke about it. That was a huge problem is the culture around this locker room. Something was amiss. I don't know what it is. I'm not in the locker room, but something was off, dude. Okay. So again, maybe we can go fishing for some college. Who's been coaching Boston College? I don't know.
Somebody was talking about, I don't know if it was Boston U. I don't know if Boomer mentioned that or something. Yeah.
You pluck someone from Boston. Gabe was just playing there.
Yeah.
Maybe that could help out. Obviously, a lot of good talent comes out of Boston. So, I don't know. Maine's coach. Where's Maine? Okay, dude, I don't know who's their coach.
What about Utah?
Right, Utah, dude. I don't know about that, dude. Although franchise high record 7 goals scored yesterday, dude.
Yeah.
Things are heating up for Utah.
I think heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So you even if Mike Sullivan said he'll come to New York, you don't want
him. See, again, I mean, listen, I would say maybe Mike Sullivan is the one exception because you can get a chance at grabbing Sidney Crosby.
You think he would go?
Probably not, to be honest. He really loves Pittsburgh and would definitely not want to end his career.
So no Crosby.
As a Ranger.
Do you want Sully or no?
Probably not, to be honest, dude.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. Yeah, because it just I think there's a reason why some of these guys have had 3-4 stops, is because like the message gets stale. You have somebody with new ideas, new energy.
And like you said, just constantly adjusting. If the message is the same, that's when it will get stale. Okay,
and then you can't even address the team.
And then what are you going to even do? Then you don't even go to the locker room after games.
Yeah,
because I don't even know what that is. I couldn't imagine being a coach of a team and after the game you don't really talk to the team. Like what? Like
honestly, looking more forward to I don't know. It's kind of a weird question, but the Rangers offseason moves, like knowing all of them, or the Stanley Cup playoffs.
That's a good question, I guess. I mean, we are making moves, so I guess the moves being made in the offseason.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, it's like, I'm sure, like, yes, like the playoff series will end up being good, but it's just like, what is the path forward? And it just seems like this is, you're tearing it down to the studs. That's what I think. And not to say that you can't be a good team next year, but I just think there's a lot of movement.
Has to be movement.
Yeah.
And I mean, it starts, I think, with getting a right coach and GM. And I mean, if that's the case, it's like, dude, like, the week after the season's over, you gotta figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So be interesting to see what they do. And they are back in action against the Flyers. No Torch tribute video due to the firing.
They should still play it.
I mean, I guess you're playing out the string. Maybe Perreault gets his first goal of his career. Maybe you don't get shut out for a change. That would be nice. So we'll have to see what happens. But it looks like we got 5 games here to do a Wednesday edition of the Frozen Frenzy.
That's right, baby. And of course, this Frozen Frenzy, albeit a short one, it's going to be good here, hopefully, is brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm. Let's get started here. 7 p.m. We're going to Tampa Bay. Okay, nice Eastern Conference matchup here as the Lightning trying to take care of business against the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs here. Toronto coming into this game at plus 150, dude. Toronto. The over-under is 5.5. We mentioned Toronto, on the back-to-back here. The loss against Florida, that's pretty tough. The Lightning, we also know their last win, the 5-1 victory against the Rangers. It was a pretty cool chalk game right there. Toronto, ironically here, has not lost to Tampa Bay all season. They're 3-0 against Tampa here. The Lightning coming in here with a Toronto record 27-8-2, but the Leafs are great on the road. However, the back-to-back is playing a factor here, Brian.
Yeah, it is.
I think so, too.
I mean, give me the Lightning. Am alive. We know how electric it'd be there. They're looking to, hoist Lord Stanley's Cup once again.
That's right.
And they're looking to finish off the regular season the right way. So I think a higher scoring game than we saw with the Leafs last night, especially with the back-to-back. I think the Lightning win, edging them out in overtime, 4-3. Kucherov, game winner, Lightning, over.
Yeah. Listen, Florida has way better defense than the Lightning. Obviously, they can make it really hard for a team like Toronto to succeed offensively. But I think the back-to-back is going to be tough. Because they just played Florida last night, I think. Give me the Lightning. I would say another 5-1 victory for them, to be honest. Toronto, a little bit tired, a little bit, not really rested here. Lightning and the over it will be, which is pretty interesting. It's 5.5. Next game, we're moving on here. I guess we'll go to the MSG, dude.
Guess we have to.
Guess we have to, dude. And 7:30 p.m. national game, TNT, Max, True TV, whatever. The Rangers taking on the lowly Flyers. The Rangers are almost just as lowly, though. The Rangers minus 185, pretty heavily favored, I guess. Over-under is 5.5. Regular season series between the two teams are tied. Rangers working on the back-to-back losses, being outscored by their opponents 9-1 in those past 2 very important games they had to play here. Obviously, seems like they are not mathematically out yet, Brian.
Mentally out, though.
They probably are 18-3, by the way, at home. Not great for a stadium like the arena like Madison Square Garden. What do you got here for the Flyers?
Rangers winning, low scoring, 2-1, because we know they can't score. But Perreault, 2 points, goal and an assist. Igor, almost flawless, 28 of 29. So an embarrassingly close game with the Flyers, but the Rangers win. Rangers in the under.
Yeah, Igor's been on fire. Give me the shot for him. Pump those fucking stats, baby. Rangers win 2-0. I'll say JT and
Perreault.
I guess Perreault. Probably his first bad team he's been playing, certainly. So JT and Perreault, why not, dude? Good for him. Next game, 8 p.m., Minnesota, the Wild taking on the lowly San Jose Sharks. San Jose, though, coming in at plus 240. You want to think of any playoff implications here in terms of the Western Conference wild card race. If my shit would load. Oh, no, dude. Here we go. Minnesota, I believe, is the second wild card spot. Come on, man. Behind St. Louis, probably. Whatever, dude. Yeah. The second wild card spot behind St. Louis. Calgary kind of somewhat hot on their tail, so they kind of want to win this one. Sharks, is it a chalk game here at the minus 290 for Minnesota?
No.
What?
Sharks, end of the season, teams, that are bad, winning. Celebrini having a great year. And Minnesota, great on the road. Not exactly stout, Tony, at home.
That's right.
It's going to be San Jose winning this one 3-2 in a shootout. Celebrini having his moment. Sharks in the under.
I don't know, dude. Minnesota here has beaten San Jose twice already this season. This is the third and final. Obviously, they've outscored the Sharks 8-3 this season. That is your final score here tonight. A scoring bonanza by Minnesota. Calgary extinguishing their chances there for the playoffs. As I said, Minnesota 8-3. So give me the over there, buddy. Next game, just 2 left here. 10 p.m. St. Louis Blues are going to be on the road against the Edmonton Oilers. Another national game here after the Rangers won. St. Louis plus 120 coming in there. And watch out, Brian. St. Louis obviously here actually snapped their win streak of, 11, 12? It was a dozen. So they're back to center here. And not for nothing, these games here, Oilers working on back-to-back losses themselves are important for the Oilers. Oilers, want that, home ice advantage in that first series here, and the Blues still want to solidify their first wild card spot here. So these two teams here are playing for something. Blues, great away record. Oilers, great home record. What do you got for these two?
Yeah, Edmonton lost the last two. Hasn't looked great.
That's right. Draisaitl.
And also, McDavid, it's been a little bit of a slower year. He's missed some injuries, time with injuries, but I think he's going to have 4 points here. A goal and 3 assists. And I'm going to say Edmonton wins this one 5-2. So give me the Oilers and the over.
Yeah. I guess give me the Blues. Why not, dude? I'll take the plus 120 here. I think it'll be a very close game. Bennington's been playing really great, okay? I know Edmonton has beaten the Blues twice already this year, but it was earlier this year. Blues, different team, playing for something great right now. I think Draisaitl is supposed to be back tonight. But I say he has a slow night off the score sheet. Connor, a goal and assist for him. But those are the only 2 points you'll see Oilers score. Blues win it 4-2. Empty netter at the end there. So give me the Blues and give me the over. Last game of the night here. We're going to Anaheim as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim are taking on the Calgary Flames. Again, Flames, I try to keep any light of the playoffs alive here. Obviously, the Ducks are far out of it here. Which is why they're plus 120 here at home. Over, under 6.5. What do you got for this one, dude?
Give me the Ducks.
Really?
Getting back to 35-35 on the year. They've hung in there. They've been stinky good at home. I think this is a tight game, but I think Anaheim takes it. Troy Terry with a hat trick. And I think they win 4-3. Give me Anaheim in the over.
Yeah, I got Anaheim, honestly, in the over here. Calgary kind of sucks. They're not making the playoffs. Give me Minnesota, St. Louis for those wild cards out of the West. Anaheim here wins 3-0. Flames extinguished, go home, whatever. Anaheim and the under to end the night.
And just like that, that is your Wednesday edition, the Frozen Frenzy, as we count down the days till the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, count down the days to the off season.
Yeah, but I think a good off season, honestly.
Has to be.
Have to crush it.
Yeah, dude. Have to crush it. Hire us. GM, head coach.
Yeah. Jury back to Colony. Oh.
Again.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really it for today. Gaming Corner?
Gaming Corner, 7 p.m. Joey, Michael, and myself in studio. The Last of Us, dude. Maybe. Yeah. I might go naughty tonight, honestly.
Okay, there you go.
Get a little naughty dolphin in there, dude. Oh, Zach likes that.
Big fan.
Huge fan for sure. And we're playing The Last of Us, which season 2 premieres this weekend, actually. So obviously we're going to try and wrap up this game, maybe even extend it a little bit. So potentially we'll beat this game, but it's a long game. It's a grind for sure.
Is it kind of like a Red Dead in terms of length?
Yes, it is like a Red Dead, dude. And of course, it's also one of those games where you have to take your time, find all your resources, the extras, check every corner, every drawer, dude. There's some hard parts of it as well. So it's definitely been the grind, but it's stoked for The Last of Us to continue tonight, 7 p.m. with the boys here in studio. So stay tuned around then to check it out.
Yeah. And then also, other than that, Yankees going to have first pitch.
That's right.
A little more than an hour and a half.
Momentarily, dude.
Get the job done. All right. I want to enjoy the first day at Augusta tomorrow. Don't want to be hampered by another lifeless loss. But I think they will bounce back. And it's just like I said, I'm just working on it. Not living and dying with every game. You're gonna have bad games.
Yeah.
And but you just want to see something better. Because I always talk about losing is losing. You don't want to lose, but still. The offense, whether you win or lose, just to be competitive, it has to be there. But I think it will be. And I think Max Fried's going to be jacked up. So I'm looking forward to watching that game for sure. But that being said, another great show today. Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony Michael Renee and Jay in Costume. Merch at DowntimeTV.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Gaming Corner. Let's go Yankees.
Go Mets.
We will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.